Just came across this video right here with the headline being U.S. stocks tumble again as trade war with China intensifies. Now this right here was posted by CNN, and when I see a headline like this, it makes me think to myself how perfectly on track we are when it comes to investing into the stock market or just investing into any assets at this point in time. We have to understand how the news works. The news is ran by a group of people that are elite. They have money, and now they've come to the point where their main job is to control and to give themselves more power. And them controlling the news and the media is the way they give themselves more power. So when we see negative headlines like this, when we see fearful headlines, this is being put out and pushed onto the mass majority of people, and they just want the people to believe what they see on the news. You ever realize that once the news starts speaking about Bitcoins or stocks doing phenomenal, that's when it begins to drop. Within the beginning of the year, you had every single person. We had huge investors like Kevin O'Leary going on to every single news platform talking about how everyone should invest in Bitcoin. And as they're talking about it so much, it begins to drop more. Because they want the people that aren't as educated on the investments that they're making. They just want to take the word from someone else, invest their money into it, and then the top dogs, they start taking their profit. So in this instance right here, we have to understand we should be doing exactly the opposite of what the news is trying to influence us to do. And in this instance, the headline is really telling everyone, get out of the market. The trade war with China is intensifying, which means that the stocks are going to continue to tumble further and further and further. But we have to recognize the fact that, first off, Trump is the president. I believe everything that he did with these tariffs to push the market downward was very intentional. You can call it market manipulation. You can call it a smart business move on his end, using the power that he has as the president of the United States. So he can give him and all of his associates and friends the best discounts they can get for the next 4 years to come. And then after this huge dip, after they get every regular retail trader, every person that's watching the news and believing it to not invest, and at this time, him and all his friends are going to invest, that's when the rich get richer and the poor continue to miss out on the biggest opportunity of their lives. So without further ado, we're going to give this video a look. I want to see what they're really emphasizing and pushing on the mass majority of people to listen to.
CNN breaking news.
And we begin this hour with President Trump set to meet with his cabinet as a key part of his second-term agenda hangs in the balance right now up on Capitol Hill. And after a week of tariff whiplash here in the United States as the president's trade war clearly intensifies.
And as we know, Wall Street doesn't like the uncertainty, right? Wednesday's green bounce after the tariffs were paused, that has turned into Thursday's red reality check. Let's go to CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Zeleny at the White House. And Jeff, you have reporting along with your White House colleagues about how this all came to be with the pause and this cabinet meeting today as well.
I do have to make mention, this is the times that Wall Street makes the most money they can too. The Wall Street loves volatility. People forget Wall Street is able to short assets also. They can make money with the market pushing downward, especially when they know what's truly going on.
Good morning, Pamela. It certainly was an extraordinary turn of events yesterday, not even quite 24 hours ago, but we have learned that it certainly was the advice that the president was receiving from some members of his cabinet, including the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, who will be in that room today when the cabinet is meeting. He was the one, of course, who was really sounding the alarm and telling the president how deep the bond markets were reacting to the president's sweeping tariff plan. So one thing that this whole situation has really shined a light on are the differing pieces of advice that the president was hearing from Scott Bessent, for example, the Treasury Secretary, versus his longtime trade advisor, Peter Navarro, who was urging the president not to make negotiations. A big question, though, heading into this cabinet meeting, is Elon Musk going to be in the room? We have not seen much of him in recent days, but he's been very active on social media. And his view on this sweeping tariff plan was that it was not good for the economy. So he was throwing stones, quite literally, at the top trade advisor. But the top economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, talked about the cabinet meeting earlier like this.
You don't think Elon Musk knew about the tariffs that were coming 6 months prior? as soon as Donald Trump got elected? You don't think Elon Musk knew the exact game plan that was about to go down with how close Elon and Trump are? Come on. And now he's saying that it's bad for the economy. Think about how many people are going to take Elon's word and write it in stone and have it more superior than anything in the world. Elon. He was very aware of everything. Come on.
USTR has informed us that there are maybe 15 countries now that have made explicit offers that we're studying and considering and, deciding whether they're good enough to present to the president. The Chief of Staff's office has asked all the principals that have, skin in the game to come and discuss what their views are about how this should go. And that's what the purpose of the meeting is.
So the offers that Kevin Hassett is talking about there are from allies like Japan, South Korea, and others who have opened lines of communication trying to lower their tariff percentage with the president. So this is all coming as the trade war is very much still on with China. There is no question about that. But the U.S. is trying to sort of circle our allies, if you will, Wolf, to have a united front against China.
And it's interesting, Jeff, Kevin Hassett is also pushing back on suggestions that President Trump actually manipulated the markets when he told people it was a, quote, good time to buy only hours before announcing the pause. Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California says he plans to write to the White House about it. How is the administration defending itself?
Well, if there is no question that timeline of a few hours between when the president sent that message, be cool, time to buy, versus about 1:18 yesterday afternoon East Coast time when the president sent out his message about a pause on this. What happened during that intervening time? Did anyone have a heads up at all? Kevin Hassett, again, the president's top economic advisor, told us a short time ago that there was no insider trading or any type of activities going on, but Democrats on Capitol Hill are not convinced of that. But Wolf, the reality is, since Republicans control Capitol Hill, there will not be any type of a committee investigation. However, this will be something, a moment in time, really those 4 hours in time yesterday that will be viewed in the coming days. But for now, at least, the trade war on against China, the cabinet meeting is underway shortly, Wolf.
All right, Jeff Zeleny at the White House for us. Jeff, thank you.
So let's check in now with CNN.
Hey, look, insider trading or not, Trump is just utilizing the leverage that he has as president. I can't blame him. You know what I'm saying? Whether the market continues to go down or the market continues to go up, you can't blame him, bro. Can't.
Business and politics correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich. She is standing by at the New York Stock Exchange. Vanessa, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, well, listen, markets are down this morning coming off that enormous rally yesterday. And I spoke to a veteran trader, Peter Tuchman, just a short time ago. And he told me that the real...
They called it an enormous rally, bro. Let's go look at the rally that they're talking about, bro. They called this an enormous rally. Okay, this is my markup. And it's crazy because I had this circle like way before price came back down here on US 30 Dow Jones, and right from this circle, right when it hit this previous higher high, we rejected it. But come on, that's not a rally. That's one blue candle. You get that's one daily blue candle. That's the thing. They'll emphasize and exaggerate everything, especially if you don't know what's going on in the markets and you can't read the markets itself. They will have you confused out of your damn mind.
The reaction of Wall Street really comes the day after. Yesterday was this relief rally, and today reality has set in that we are still very much in the middle of a trade war with still historically high tariffs. That 90-day pause on those high reciprocal tariffs are very welcome news to traders here. I spoke to a few yesterday after the market closed who said that anytime the Dow is up nearly 3,000 points, that is a good day. However, today they are facing down high tariffs on China, that 125% tariff. You have those tariffs in place, 25% on autos. And then, of course, you have that 10% universal tariff that is in effect right now. And you see the markets there right now, the Dow down about more than 2.5%. Look at the NASDAQ down more than 4%. The S&P down almost 3.5% there. But the big questions that I'm hearing from traders here today are sort of, what are the off-ramps here to this trade war? What are the negotiations that need to be happening between these more than 75 countries in the administration? And then especially looking at China, because so many of the companies that are traded on Wall Street here have direct ties to China, get many of their products from China. So what does that look like? One analyst said to me this morning that some of these negotiations could actually center more around other things, non-tariff related things, something like with China, maybe a deal with TikTok or even a deal with the Panama Canal. Those are the questions that they have. What is the off-ramp for this trade war for the president? So here today,
yeah, I mean, clearly investors are sending the signal, though, that they understand this is far from over. There's a lot to be worked out. But you do have businessmen like billionaire investor Bill Ackman, a Trump ally, celebrating this pause. He was among the business leaders who had turned on the president over his tariff plans. He's now praising the pause and implementing many of those taxes. What can you tell us about that?
To effect, he is coming out and saying,
you got to think about it. They're always going to make it seem worse than it is, like, especially in the fact that Trump. If it, all right, put it this way: if it really comes to the end of the world, Trump could just say, "Okay, forget the tariffs. We don't want to do it anymore." He literally has that ability and capability to do so. So it's not going to be the end of the world. He's literally doing this because he understands that he's controlling the market. He's using leverage to other countries. I believe all of this is obviously staged. It's premeditated. And that's just the way the market works. It works off of fear. I mean, everyone in this video looks fearful. The title in itself is inducing fear. And just the context of the video, trade war, like, it's not even a war. Like, it's really not a war at all whatsoever. Like, Trump could just say, okay, we don't want the tariffs. If they want to continue with the tariffs, then let it do so. But the real question is, do you think because of these tariffs, Apple is going to go completely out of business? Or you think Apple is going to continue to make its way to the upside eventually in some time? I mean, that's what investing is. Do you believe in a specific business? Do you believe in a certain idea? Yeah, Apple is down what? Apple is down from its all-time high. It's down 34%. Okay, big whoop-de-doo. This is a phenomenal opportunity to buy. Now, if you believe that Apple is going to go completely to shit and go to zero, then no, it's not a good opportunity to buy because you have zero faith behind it. But if you do believe that Apple is going to eventually break these highs in the future, break this high in the future right here, then it's going to be a phenomenal time to buy. And I believe that's exactly what all big investors are seeing at this point in time. What was the last perfect opportunity to buy? COVID. Everyone thought it was the end of the world. When was that? In February of 2020 right here. We had a what? How big was that dip? And I mean literally the end of the world. I mean, people were dropping. Everyone had to be inside. This is 34% drop. This is just as bad as a drop. Like, people literally believe that this is going to be the end of the world because of this narrative of a trade war that's going on with China. Yeah, we get a lot of products from China. We trade a lot with China. But I mean, this narrative and the fear that people are having because of this is absolutely insane. When on the other end of the stick, the investors, the Trump, and everyone that is looking at the market right now, they are like Warren Buffett. They're having a fucking blast. Like, they're absolutely having a blast because I know they had insight of it. They probably sold up here, now they're going to buy up here. Or they just never sold at all and they just wanted to buy more at a discount. Like, you have to think about it this way. So for all these stocks, even Tesla, I mean, this is Elon Musk. We're talking about the richest person in the entire world. Do you really think that he's going to let this drop right here, this point right here, be the last all-time high? Do you think his business is going to just completely go to the dumpster because of these tariffs that Trump implemented, that he obviously talked about Elon Musk with also? No, that's not how this is working. These are phenomenal buy opportunities. They're just putting fear into the market right now, especially for the retail investors, so they don't get a piece of anything that's about to go on for the future to come. I don't know how far down it's going to go, but I mean, I personally believe that they're not going to let their businesses, their company that they've been working on for years on end, continue to go to the ground and not make any way up. All right, so comment down below what you guys think about the news, and I guess technically that the technical analysis that we see here when it comes to the stocks, even currencies, like even Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin also had a pump. I'm realizing that Bitcoin does have a fair correlation to the S&P 500 and just like overall investing in Wall Street, because this is going to become an asset that is traded within the Wall Street, because there has been more like ETFs being filed for Bitcoin and even Cardano, ADA. So what do y'all think? Comment down below. Love you guys. I'm going to catch you guys